Hey guys, Lockie from Focus Performance Training. I haven't done a video in a while and I thought I'd try something a little bit different. Now we see this on YouTube quite a fair bit where you'll see someone's face like this, like I've done right now, and they'll have a second screen which will be their computer screen, and they'll be going through looking at some videos and sort of analysing stuff on the screen while talking to you like this. So I got asked a question on Thursday around arm bend in the clean or the snatch and whether we should have be forcefully extending our elbows or having our elbows pulled in nice and soft. And this is something that Greg Everett's done to death on YouTube. So if you haven't already, go across and watch this video from Greg, which will put a lot of good, I guess, context to what I'm going to say today. So the first thing I'm going to say is that generally, when we see an early arm bend in the clean or the snatch, whether it's a power or a full variant, regardless, it's going to result in potentially a lack of upward momentum and could be a result of a number of things. Now, something that I didn't hear Greg talk to or touch on in that video was that it can come as a result of death gripping the barbell. So if you hold the barbell that tight and you get sort of your white knuckle or white knuckles, you're holding it too tight. Now, if I can hold a barbell with quite small hands and not do that, then there isn't really an excuse for anybody else. And that sort of builds on something from Sonny Webster says all the time on his Instagram, where it's all about like, just do hook grip, because it isn't that hard and it's quite an easy movement to do once you get used to it. So breaking down what the early arm bend would do if you're tensing your arms too much. What will happen is that you will pull the bar into your hip. All right, and I'm gonna go through a quick video of my power clean from the weekend because it's a really good example of sort of what not to do. You'll pull it into your hip and there's less chance of you being able to actually actively extend and keep the bar nice and close, which I'm gonna show you from Nathan Damron in a second, because here's a really good example of how to do that. So let's we'll pull up mine first, and so you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. So this is that sort of freeze frame that I've done just here and I've got it with the bars just above the knees. And so I'll just pull it back a little bit. From the ground, I've got nice straight arms, and I'm actually here thinking about trying to allow my arms to be straight because I've got a bit of an issue with early arm bend, and it could be a result of a number of things, but it is something that I'm consistently working on. So from the ground, in that position, you see my elbows start to bend quite early, and I start to bring that bar into my hip. And one of the things that Greg touched on in his video is that this may be sort of a strategy that my body's used in order to get the bar a little bit higher into my hips so that it doesn't get disturbed as much by coming off my thighs nice and low. So that could be a reason why. And I mean, if you look at my left foot in this video here, I'm sort of doing the happy dance with my left foot, which is the side of my injured hip, which I am sort of coming back from. So that's an interesting point, which I'll touch on in a later video, trying to keep your feet nice and planted. So if we compare that video to something like this from Nathan Damron, where we've actually got a really smooth upright position. You see the barbell actually come up really smoothly all the way up into a nice position. There isn't really any horizontal displacement of that barbell whatsoever. So it's actually a really good, I guess, example right here of what to do with your cleans. You want to try and keep it nice and smooth and allow your arms to stay nice and straight so it can be a nice smooth vertical bar path rather than having it loop out and around. Another really good example of this is Max Lang. So and I can actually pause this and we can see at maximal extension for Max. All right, his elbows are still quite straight and he's able to maintain that. So I can actually bring this back down, which is didn't know I could do this on Instagram until I did this, but we've got a nice straight elbows. There is a tiny bit of bend, and Greg talks to 10 degrees of bend, and that would probably be where you'd want to be. Any more than that would sort of exceed that rule. And then we've got really good extension with very, very little horizontal bar displacement. So if we come back to this video of myself and we play it in full time, it's nowhere near as smooth. I'll turn the sound down. Nowhere near as smooth. And you can see the separation from my body when the bar hits there and it comes out and around. And that's because my arms are straight. That's not going to allow me to keep a nice, smooth and close bar path like what you've seen with Nathan and Max. Now that's going to mean that there's more potential for the bar to crash in your body. There's going to be a greater point from where the bar reaches to its fixation point on the front of your chest or overhead. So it's going to make things a lot harder. And to add to that as well, if you are having dramas with elbow issues or some tendonitis of your elbows, that could be a contributing factor if you're consistently pulling too hard, too much, trying to actually bring the bar in a little bit closer. So what are some fixes to this? Well, start to relax your grip. It should just be trapping your thumb onto the barbell nice and softly and thinking about allowing your arms to hang nice and long rather than sort of death gripping the barbell like you see me do a little bit here. Another thing we can add in as well is actually training that and doing some clean pulls where you're focusing on just keeping your arms straight with a nice big shrug. The third thing we can play around with is maybe we need to look at tricep strength and actually strengthening the triceps in that bottom position so you can build capacity there. So guys, this isn't a hard and fast. Some people use an early arm bend effectively to get the bar a little bit higher into the hips so it doesn't get disturbed by the hips in general. But if you watch Greg's YouTube clip, it is really, really clear as to it's not a bad thing and it's not a good thing. It has its place. There's a lot of nuance behind this. But if someone's telling you to completely relax your arms and keep them straight or to bend your arms, then there's probably some room for diving into that question a little bit more and maybe getting a little bit more nuance. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you've appreciated this new take on going down, sitting down with a tree in my video, trying to get some light into the area in a much more brighter setting than we normally are when I'm sitting down or in the garage. And keep your eyes peeled. Something might be coming in the future where we look at weightlifting in more in depth. Have a good week, guys, and Merry Christmas to everybody.